won't be mad, and you'll know he's headed this way. So,
Well, I should see him pop up on the thing. All right, then.
I'm going to leave up my Google of the Greek to Roman gods translation. I'm pretty fucking thrilled with. I'm going to leave that up. I'm going to close a bunch of other shit.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Oh no, I'm listening to myself.
That's got to be
good evening, Badger. And as you're possibly aware, if you follow me on Twitter, my PC is fucking dead. So
it committed suicide.
Due to this calamitous happening, I've decided
it was a suicide.
In response to a film starring Harrison Ford, where he plays a news anchor guy. He has a bottle of whiskey that he refers to as his practically suicidal whiskey. I have the same, and it has sat in my desk drawer for some time, and tonight, thanks to my PC deciding to give up the ghost in the middle of fucking quarantine, I've decided I'm opening that bottle of whiskey. With me this evening is Mr. Artemis and possibly Duke shortly.
What fucking movie is that?
I can't remember the title.
You have got to be fucking kidding me. No, this is a legitimate. You've got to be kidding me face. You've got to be kidding me. I'm sitting here while you're going through that whole fucking thing, trying to come up with what the fuck movie you're referencing, and I can't. So I'm waiting for you to finish, just so I can ask you what fucking movie that came from, and your response was what again?
I can't remember the title. Hang on, let me see if I can figure it out.
Seriously, I need a minute. All right, a moment. I need a moment. Jesus Christ.
Rory says, "Hello, Artemis."
What the fuck?
I found it. I found the film. It's Morning Glory.
Holy Christ. No wonder I didn't recognize it. I've never seen that movie.
I went to see that film in the cinema with a friend of mine, and ever since then, both me and him have had a bottle of expensive whiskey in our desk drawers for if things get really bad.
That was a deep fucking dive. Me of all people, I fully appreciate a reference that nobody fucking gets.
And tonight I'm going to open that bottle of whiskey because my PC died in the middle of quarantine.
I think it was 2002 that a friend of mine suggested selling T-shirts that say, "Some of them are just for me," in reference to a bunch of jokes that I tell or a bunch of comments that I make and laugh at because no one else fucking gets them.
Yep, that's most of my jokes.
Yeah.
Sometimes people laugh at them other than me, and that's great. But sometimes people like that they do the offended face when I tell a joke, and they're there going, "I didn't think." They look at me with that, and they're just, "I didn't think that joke was very funny," and I go, "That's fine. I didn't tell."
Yeah. The Karen face that you get when you start a conversation with, how do you roast a baby? And do you prefer white babies? Invariably, the look of horror that people respond to that with is that what? Not the level of. Never mind. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I did accidentally make a joke that got the whole gaming clan into have a bit of a mess the other day, which was a guy was telling me about that his monitor for his PC is 16 years old. It's one of the old Apple Cinema displays. He's had this thing for ages, and it's the best screen he's ever had. Also, so he describes it.
You and I are similar. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I misread the age of his screen when he said it, and I made a sex joke. because I thought he said it was 18 years old.
You got dyslexic on it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. So, I am opening my fancy whiskey that is for emergencies only because my PC is dead and it's in the middle of quarantine. So I'm just here like you picked a perfect fucking time for it, didn't you?
I feel like I did. I grew up on a street of very middle class, very white people in the 70s. And a guy that lived, let's see, we lived, there was a cul-de-sac that came into our driveway. So we didn't have a house that was directly across the street from us. I live in a subdivision. I'm not sure what your familiarity with. I know they exist where in your country, but I'm not sure what your familiarity with what an American subdivision kind of looked like, especially from the 70s. But probably 140 foot across lots by 100 foot or better deep. Big fucking spacious properties. Little houses, but big properties. Anyway.
We got Richard Madsen trying to come in.
Oh, by all means.
Let me just... I've lost Twitter chat. Carry on with your story while I try and figure out how to internet.
Yeah, see, remember when I told you how fucked up I was? This is where it becomes problematic. No idea what point I had or what story I was trying to tell, but
story about
growing up in the 70s
and the internet
about, I know what it was.
Subdivisions.
Guy that lived across the street and over two houses. For I don't know what his association was with the school system, but he was responsible for administrating the Apple II computers that were about to be used in the entirety of this city's school system. So for a summer, I had access to an Apple II before literally anybody else in the city because they weren't for sale here. They were only available for schools at the time. So I got to play with an Apple II in this city before all but three people.
We've become so squished in that I am now just bad-tempered badg.
You do seem to... See, I saw that when I typed in brain sample that I was going to have it was going to be problematic.
All right, so you were using these Apple IIs.
Okay, hang on.
Oh, no.
Now I'm going to send a text to Duke because now I'm just irritated.
Well, hopefully Rory Herbert will be joining us any moment. And we can not be quite so horizontal fashion. Right, what was I saying? Yes. Whiskey. So, as I explained in my overly long description of the Harrison Ford film, I have this whiskey in my desk drawer. Well, it's not in my desk drawer right now. It's on my desk, which is Highland Park Dragon Legend whiskey. Because it was on special offer, which makes me feel like slightly less of a fancy motherfucker having bought it.
Well, it's sufficiently long-winded. It sounds classy.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to taste classy as well. But this is I have not actually tried it before because this is my this is what is referred to as the practically suicidal whiskey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is the whiskey I only take out of its container when things are not going very well.
See, I assumed that would be something German. I don't know why.
Say that again. It either cut me or you off.
I just assumed that a whiskey with that level of commitment to a thing would have been German.
Oh no, this is Scottish.
Wow, It's a little defeatist for a Scot.
Yeah, let me find a. Well, it's not called that on the bottle. It's called that in reference to the Harrison Ford film. Oh, it helps if I can spell words correctly, doesn't it?
I was corrected by Alan on Twitter who said, "quote unquote," given God has given us all we need to discover things. Imagine how disappointed he must be when we use every opportunity to dismiss him. Must be soul crushing.
Okay, Rory will just be a minute because he's got to tie his cravat. So I'm going to show a little picture of the whiskey that I'm about to be consuming. Here we go.
Oh, look at you with fucking graphics. Clever girl.
That's one of my.
Does that mean another badger's about to sweep around behind us?
Holy shit, Richard! You make me look like a fucking fence post with your color.
That's one of my favorite scenes in Jurassic Park.
Clever girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. It's one of my favorite scenes in all of the Jurassic Parks.
He spends absolutely ages folding out the stock on his shotgun, and he sits there. He lines up the shot perfectly, and then just the face comes out of the bushes to his left, and he just clever girl.
Here's an experience that I'm fairly certain neither of you had. I watched the first Jurassic Park movie with this same fucking friend of mine I'm constantly referencing because we spent a lot of fucking time together, in her car at a drive-in theater, and she drove a 2009 or 10 Subaru Outback with a great big 15-inch subwoofer underneath the driver's seat. So when the T-Rex came walking up to the car, she turned to me and she said, "We're going to have to change seats."
Oh, dear.
And then she slid out of the car and I slid across it. Yeah. So fucking funny.
Hey, we got Duke.
Hey, I think I told Duke that story at some point.
Yeah, well, you can tell him again. He's just showed up.
He was probably...
Don't tell me again.
You're too angry and your eyes are too far apart.
I don't want to hear that story again. If you told me a story once, I don't ever need to hear it again.
You're just angry.
I am angry.
Yeah.
All right, Duke, are you aware of the situation?
What's the situation?
Wait, before we get started.
Actually, no. Let me jump in before we get started. I just want to say I have very low battery, and StreamYard eats my battery for breakfast, so I may not be in here very long.
Fair enough. Right, I will tell you the story quickly.
Duke called me yesterday or the day before, and I said, "I'm cooking dinner. I'll call you right back," and I didn't.
He was very naughty.
I'm really sorry.
He was very naughty.
I was really high. I was thinking at the time, I'm like, don't forget to call Duke. Don't forget to call Duke. Don't forget. And then I ate supper, and I'm like, who's Duke?
Dude.
All right.
Dude,
so,
I tried calling you today, Artemis, and it went to not a voicemail. It did this thing where it was like, this person uses a special Google.
Did not recognize your phone number again.
You
changed phone
having both of them in here at the same time.
Let's go. Your limited battery. Go.
Sorry,
Dude,
bad temper.
Here is the fucking story, the situation that's going on right now. So my PC has decided to just completely stop working in the middle of the fucking quarantine.
Suicide.
So, in response to this disastrous turn of events, I have opened what, in reference to a Harrison Ford film called Morning Glory, I call my practically suicidal whiskey.
Okay.
It is the expensive whiskey that lives in my desk drawer just in case shit goes terribly wrong.
Right, in case, like you said, 28 days later scenario, and you just want something really good to wash the pills down with.
Yeah, something to watch the fire burn.
Yep. So you see my PC packing up in the middle of fucking quarantine, I think qualifies.
I agree.
Oh fuck!
So,
I don't get to even.
this
I don't even
here
get to
is-
enjoy this whole quarantine thing because, like, fuck me, I'm an essential worker at 2 different jobs.
Yeah, you got to throw on a mask and go to work. Fuck you.
Yeah. So this is the whiskey I shall be consuming shortly. It is fancy.
It looks fancy.
Hey, Duke. Speaking of your participation in the survival of civilization as we know it, how much is your blood money? What's your battle pay?
At the hospital, nothing. They cut my hours.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding. They cut my hours because there's so little. There's so much less traffic into the hospital because people are afraid of COVID. So there's a lot less people coming in. Like, hey, I got an insect bite on my arm. I want it checked out. You know what I mean? So we're not getting all that kind of stuff. So they don't have the actual money because there's nobody on the floors. There's nothing coming in. Now Lowe's gave me an extra $2 on the hour and $150 bonus hazard paycheck. And they were like unlimited hours for the rest of the month.
Well, yeah.
So
please don't quit.
Can anyone?
But was the 100? First of all, the thing that's happening at the
so long to
hospital.
tie his cravat.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, somebody go ahead for fuck's sake.
Oh, what? I was just asking, how long does it take Rory to tie his cravat?
To do what?
What happened?
Well, it sounded like you said, how does it take Rory to tie Savant?
Oh, I said his cravat.
Oh.
How long does it take?
Well, he said in the chat he'd be in as soon as he tied his cravat.
Oh, Christ. You throw out an obscure reference from a
Jesus
thing.
Christ. Artemis Brains. Badger, you're the fucking Dennis Miller of this goddamn podcast.
No shit. I tried to come up with that earlier, and I couldn't come up with Dennis Miller's name, so I didn't say anything. But what I was thinking was that it was the worst Dennis Miller fucking reference I've ever heard.
Rory, how long does it take you to tie a cravat?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my fine fellow. I see you once again are blessing us with the presence of you and your very fine hat and cravat compliment.
Well, that's always so kind. I always admire your sunglasses and cigar, dear Badger.
I've worn a shirt with a collar. You've got to appreciate the effort.
I'm a little nondescript person in a bubble.
Yeah, that's weird.
So Rory, I swear to God, you're like the closest I'll ever get to BBC television, like hanging out with the two of you guys. Like you're like the closest I'll ever get to being on an episode of a BBC series. I fucking love it.
Duke, apart from me, you're the closest you'll ever get to Carrie Elvis's penis.
I know.
Yeah, that is.
But
also,
that is also a thing, and that's a shame.
That is also a thing.
Because I would totally touch Carrie Elvis's penis, especially young Carrie Elvis.
I thought you wouldn't be opposed to touching someone who's seen it.
Probably not. Especially if he talks in that sweet British accent.
Sweet ass just accent.
All right.
Last time I talked to Rory, it was about 7 a.m. his time when we stopped talking.
It's all right. It's 1:22 a.m. now.
Well, we had a good chat.
We had a healthy chat.
Even
even as I was passing out while we were talking, we stopped talking and I went to bed, and it was fully another hour and a half before I was able to go to bed.
Apparently, I can top that.
Apparently, you remember that? So excited that the adrenaline rush took an hour and a half to wear off.
Do you remember that time? Do you remember that time, Artie, that I drunkenly invited you to chat with me, and also drunkenly invited somebody else to chat with me, and both groups sat and talked for 8 hours while I slept?
in all honesty, that was one of the greatest conversations I was ever a part of. I'm not even lying. And that's why he remembers it, because he missed all of it.
All right, then,
Great
everybody.
conversation among a billion people he loves, and he missed every fucking stitch of it.
Well,
All right, then,
Badger,
everybody.
Badger.
Question
Come
for
on.
you. After you, Rory, go on.
No, I was going back to you, Badger.
Oh, okay, then after me, then. Right.
Well, as it's your stream, and
Question.
Wondering how the lockdown in the borough is going.
Oh, well, until my PC decided to pack up, it was going
committed
pretty
suicide.
well.
Just fucking say it. Until your PC committed suicide.
Well, what happened was I turned it on, and it was intermittent, like a couple of times to make it come on. Sometimes it would come on properly, and sometimes it
That
wouldn't.
was ironic, wasn't it?
And then the next time I tried to turn it on, it just all the
I got
fans
worried.
ran up and nothing happened.
I was like, oh my god, history's repeating itself.
So yeah, the whole thing's knackered. It's had it. It's eaten all its biscuits and it's shat out the remnants. So my question for you people: have you ever read a book?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes, Badger.
Right. Excellent. Now my
Questions get harder.
My follow-on question for that is: have you ever read a book that you were either so into or so needed to find out what happened next that you were unable to sleep until you finished it?
Yes. Drawing of the Three by Stephen King. I was reading it, the last part. I had started in the morning, and my ex-wife and I were driving up to get my son from my first wife in Myrtle Beach from Charleston. It's about an hour and a half drive, and I was like reading my ass off to get to the end.
I know Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah, we like to call it the Redneck Riviera.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah, used to stay at the Sunside. The Sunside in January, actually,
There we go.
to go to Myrtle Beach for New Year's. And
Yeah,
one of the great things about South Carolina is that, first of all, you have to buy alcohol from the government. And the other one is that you can buy fireworks 24/7, 365, and let them off legally during the same time period.
Yep.
Mostly.
Right. Okay, then back to Badger. Back to Badger.
It's a lot of people with missing
All right, now.
votes and
So
A
all
lot of
except
people that look like
Leap Day.
chimpanzee wranglers.
yeah.
So you can't
You
buy
know when-
fireworks on
you know
Leap
when-
Day, I guess.
You know, you have those firework rocket, and they you're supposed to let go of them before the.
So says you,
So
coward.
the book that I most recently read that I was not able to go to sleep until I finished is a Star Wars book called Star Wars Death Troopers.
That is a huge surprise.
It is a horror-themed book. Essentially, it's zombies, but in Star Wars.
Yeah,
And the reason I couldn't was that the reason I couldn't sleep until I finished it was because it was quite disturbing, and I realized that I was about halfway through it. And I closed it, turned the light off, went to bed, was laying there in bed, just going, "Nope, this is not working. I'm not going to be able to go to sleep until I finish this book."
So here I have a question.
Have you ever coming out of the window?
Have you ever read a book or seen a movie that was so bad that you watched it or read it again just to be certain
yes.
that it was as bad as you thought it was?
Actually, I take that back. What I did was watch a movie that I thought was brilliant and nobody else did, and I rewatched it and realized what they thought.
Yeah. No, all right. So the movie I talk about is Undead. It's an Australian flick. I watched it because my buddy was like, "Oh, it's hilarious! It's great! It's so cool! It's so bad! It's good!" Right? So I sat and I watched this movie like deadpan all the way to the end. It stopped, and I started it over and watched it again because it was so bad I couldn't fucking believe it. You know what I mean? I was like, it was so bad. There had to be something about it that had some kind of merit, and there was just nothing. There's just fucking nothing there.
I know Rory will appreciate this, but I used to work at a video store, 1993 or 4, some shit like that. And I would work days because nobody else wanted to, so they paid me more because I worked alone, part of it, and that meant mostly dealing with guys that were renting porn. But that was
you know what? The first time I saw you, I thought you looked familiar.
yeah, I remember you porn. Anyway, big titty mamas and the strap-ons that they love. Yeah, I was adjusting the shelves and overhearing conversations. You know, there was nothing to keep me fully blazed at work, and I would just follow customers around straightening up shit if they said something particularly stupid. And I listened to an entire conversation between 4 people, with one of them constantly making the claim that Forrest Gump is based on a true story. Well, that's why I started following this motherfucker. I'm like, oh, I got it.
Bits of it are based on a true story.
Like, how is it that nobody's ever heard the guy's name before? They made a movie about him, but he's done all this shit. Please, hear the story. The thing is that he was the smartest of the stupids that were walking through the store that night, and nobody he was with had any questions or any doubts about what he was claiming because he was the king of the stupids, apparently. And yes. I literally fell to my knees laughing on the other side of a fucking rack of VHS tapes because nobody was asking this guy how the fuck nobody knows who the fuck this guy is. How has nobody ever heard the name before if he's done all of this shit?
Well, they do have that restaurant, right? Bubba Gump.
Now they do.
Since the movie, sure. Yeah.
Don't shit in my cornflakes. I'm super fucking excited that goddamn Forrest Gump is a real person.
The movie said there were going to be restaurants called all right. And now there are. So Bubba Gump Shrimp Company is prophecy.
Badger.
Uh-oh.
Badger, I just got a YouTube notification that you're live, apparently.
Am I indeed?
Well, yeah, like 30 minutes after the event. Thank you, YouTube.
You know, occasionally YouTube informs me that I'm live.
Well, occasionally you operate on the assumption that somebody that's joining a conversation is aware that it's live.
Hey, Artemis.
That's true.
What do you think of the idea that? What do you think of the idea that Forrest Gump is representing the whole of like the recent history of the United States and pop culture?
Oh Christ! I think that's a fascinating conversation to have when I'm this high. Shit.
Oh, probably not. Never mind. Forget it.
No, fuck no.
Forget it.
I can't have that conversation fucking sober, dude. I'm
No,
not.
All right, then.
Cannot have that
Whiskey
conversation,
time, gentlemen. Gentlemen. It is now whiskey time.
Okay, whiskey time.
Whiskey
Did you
time.
guys?
I can actually figure out how to open it.
You're a bad.
For those of you guys that follow me, did you happen to see the fight I got into over kids on leashes?
You and I've talked about that, haven't we?
You and I did talk about that.
Explain yourself.
I'm going to explain myself. So, what's his name? What's the guy? A Telltale Atheist put a poll out. It was like, have you ever put your kid on a leash?
Remember that time the Telltale threw his poll out?
And so I know, right? He said, yeah. So I voted no, and then I answered no, because I'm a responsible parent, right?
Oh dear.
And yeah, I didn't think it was that, caustic of a thing. But immediately I got a response. It was like, okay, so you're saying that everyone that has their kids on leashes is an irresponsible parent. Now, as much as I'd like to be like Shannon and be like, no, let's have an honest conversation about this, I'm not.
You're not, Shannon.
So what we've learned from this story is that you are not Shannon Q.
You are way more Artemis than you are Apologia as well.
That's true. So instead of doing that, even though that's not what I was saying, I pretty much went, well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's precisely what I'm saying.
Fucking yes.
Jude,
Right. I figured out how to get into
I-
the whiskey. It's time.
can I go back to oh dear.
Attaboy.
Jude, can I go back to Badger here for a moment?
Sure thing.
He's a good
Sure thing, buddy.
Concerning,
You're so polite.
Well, that's kind of you.
Well,
Badger,
British,
concerning children on leashes.
Yeah.
Did you ever put your children on those leash things? If you have any.
Me
Didn't
personally.
you have wouldn't it be like a litter?
Or it would be a litter. Or I'll rephrase that. Or would you know anybody other badgers that did?
Yes, I was on one once.
Yeah, I used to be on one too, and I put my children on them. But when I moved
Really?
to America, yes.
I'll tell you why.
When I moved to America,
I'll tell you exactly why I was on one.
I would say I've been on a leash.
Because,
I've been on a leash too, but for totally different reasons.
Yeah.
I, as a small
Fucking shut up. I
child
can't
with
wait to hear
learning
the story.
difficulties, tended to just see things and just go, "Oh, that's nice," and just wander across roads.
hence the leash thing.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You know what you needed was a border collie.
Right.
Well,
Now, on that note,
Okay, maybe I'm the only person that's ever heard of border collies reining in children that tend to wander away from the house.
No, I've heard of that. Yeah.
makes sense because border collies. Do border collies be used as sheepdogs? That's a sentence.
Yes.
Yes, they do be used.
Yep.
Excellent. Right.
My
Now,
dog is a Springer Poo.
Springer poo.
A Springer Poo.
I'll be
thought that
selling
was the
bumper
sound.
stickers on my website. Yes, they do be used.
Right. Now, if everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment, it is
Yes.
time for Badger's mildly expensive whiskey review.
Oh,
That's going to be interesting.
if you use the word smoky, I'm going to smack you in the neck.
No, hit him on the snoz.
Do you know? Do you know what the description of this whiskey is on its very container?
I'm going to guess it's peaty and smoky.
It'll be a
The
12-year-old.
richier, smokier side of Highland Park.
How could I have?
That is what it says on the container.
How could
That
I
is
have
what
known?
the container says.
The container. That's
Does
classy.
it say 12-year-old malt, Badger?
Yeah. Does it come in a
Says
jug?
fucking dragons and stuff. Hang on.
Is it got a flip top lid?
It is the Orkney Sing Viking Soul. That's what it is.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Did you say the word Viking in there somewhere?
Orkneys, from the Orkney Islands, then.
Right. Now, let me tell you what it's like.
Is the word Viking in there somewhere?
Yes!
No.
You had to wait until I was midway through drinking it to ask me a question, didn't you?
I guess
Well-
smoky and Viking is in the name. Bring it.
Okay, let me tell you
Now
what
that's
this whiskey is
smooth.
like.
Tops the list.
It's quite it's quite a strong flavor. It is definitely flavorful. It's
Is it
not
aromatic?
something.
Would you say it's aromatic?
I would say it's aromatic. It's not something that you drink and you're there like, no, I didn't really taste that. It's definitely there.
Was the flavor visceral?
Yeah. Let's go with visceral. I'm also going to say that it was.
You are drinking it neat, aren't you, Badger?
Well,
I was for the taste testing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't let it breathe. You got to go neat.
No, I meant
You gotta
not
go
with
neat.
ice. Or, yeah.
I
No, you
have
gotta go
some ice,
neat.
but that's not for the taste testing whiskey. That's for the rum afterwards.
No, so yeah, you gotta taste it. You got to drink the whiskey clean and have an ice water on the side.
Oh yeah, well that is literally what I have for completely different reasons.
Oh,
So
I gotta admit, I gotta agree with Florida Man on that one.
I am going to
Love
say
you.
smoky.
I know you do.
I am going to say smoky. I'm also going to say
No shit.
that I very much
How
like
about
the shape
earthy?
of the bottle.
is it earthy?
Earthy
I
is
don't
good.
know. Necessarily say
From-
earthy.
From
It's already
oh,
peaty.
no.
It can't be earthy as
Are
well.
you just
Yeah.
telling me vaguely posh whiskey words and seeing if they make my brain go, yeah, that one?
Wait, there's nothing vague about peaty and smoky when you're talking about whiskey. They're just predictable things that you're going to hear or read on the, I don't know, what did you say, the vesicle that it's in?
I said the container.
Can I?
No, you didn't say container. You used a better word. That wasn't it.
I could have said the decanter. I have a decanter.
That wasn't it. But it was better than container.
The vessel?
Can-
Shall we say the
That's
whiskey
what
vessel?
it was.
Can I say something to Richard real quick?
Well, you
So
are
you're
here, and he is here, so why not?
I am. I'm going to. So he's got the beard and the whole thing going with the little halo going around the back of your head, dude. Like you look like you should be on a Nag Champa thing to me, man.
All right.
I'm not making fun of you at all. Like you're good looking dude, but you look like you should be on incense.
Yeah,
Thanks, man. What I was going to ask you what Nag Champa was. That's incense.
Yeah, it's
All right,
it's
cool.
the incense that the Indians use. There we go.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone, the verdict is in. The best description has been posted. Yes, nerdy, it emancipates the taste buds.
There we go. Emancipation. Excellent word. Dirty.
Actually, that's saltier than it reads.
I wouldn't know.
I'm going to have a little bit more of this,
What's
and then I'm going to switch to the significantly cheaper stuff so that I can actually drink a reasonable amount of it without feeling like I've just drunk an entire 30 quid.
aside from the fact that I'm lucky to be alive because I've survived as many heart attacks as I have, it's not the only reason that I feel like I've cheated everything and survived it all. My proximity to hospitals has certainly had a hell of a lot to do with why I'm alive, but my dad he's best described as frail, I think is a good way of putting his condition.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Oh shit.
Cheers. Skull. Skull.
Go.
Oh,
Right. So now that I have toasted my dearly departed PC with the expensive Highland Dragon whiskey, I'm now switching to the captain for the toasts.
Oh, fuck my life, dude. The
Wait a
captain.
minute.
Of all things.
Dragon and Viking were in the name of that shit?
Yeah, and-
Dragon is in the name and Viking is on the back.
Now he's switching to pirates, which is, the buggery is real.
Dragon is in the name. It's called Park Dragon Legend, and Viking is on the back because it's from the Orkney Islands.
Yeah.
are we going to have some formal toasts, Badger? That sounded rather good to me.
Yes, let's have some
Yes.
formal toast.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Well,
I would like
for
to
the
raise a
backbiters.
glass or bottle. I would like
Got
to
one.
raise a glass or bottle or whatever you have
Mhm.
in memory of my dearly departed PC.
Fantastic. I'll drink to that.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
Holy Christ!
Who's going to toast next?
It served me well for many years. It's outlasted many previous devices. Unfortunately, its motherboard finally packed it in.
All right. I'm going to toast next.
Does anybody know the prayer from Johnny Dangerously?
Nope. But
No.
go on if you.
But I do know. I do know the thing where I did not come to America to get my rights violated by a bunch of forking corksuckers. You fucking assholes.
You fucking assholes.
You fucking assholes. Did I come to America to be treated this way by a bunch of fucking corksuckers?
All right. Well, here does anyone else have a toast raise? And it's
Yeah.
The internet's just cut me off again. Well,
I'm going
here,
to
does anyone
toast.
else have a toast they want to raise?
I do. I have a toast. I'm going to toast a badger. Okay? May your burrow be filled with joy, and may you have plenty of squeezable titties in your foreseeable future.
L'chaim.
Thank you, Duke. I will raise my glass.
And may everyone have a dry place to shit.
Outstanding. I'm
I have a
presuming
real-
that you mean apart from the toilet bowl.
Look, if you've stood in mud or dug holes in mud for more than a day or two, for every shit you've taken, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Have you ever shat in a composting campsite toilet?
Yes.
I have shat along trails that, composting toilets were far, and there were no composting toilets. There were holes to be dug.
All right. No, well, when I say a composting campsite toilet, what I mean is you dig a big hole in the ground and put a wooden shack with a toilet seat in it over it.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's what we all understood to mean when you said it.
Now, what about one of those that doesn't have a seat and you just squat?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Doing that.
I've never been to India.
No, this is not in India. This is in the British countryside.
They have that in France.
I hear.
I did that in Alaska.
Now, what I discovered is that just squatting to shit is actually more
Strictly
difficult than
British?
it looks. It's more
It
difficult,
is.
at least for me. The muscles that I use to support myself while squatting counteract the muscles I use to shit.
You have the strongest feet.
It's good exercise, Badger. You should try it more often.
Badgers don't have knees, but they have really long feet.
Hey, Rory. I have a quick question.
I have
So
shat in places that shouldn't be shatted.
I've recently discovered my talent for niche erotica.
No.
If I were to send you some funny niche erotica, would you record yourself reading it?
No.
No. Oh,
No.
it would be so funny though. It
No,
involves.
you have to.
It might be extremely embarrassing.
You might
I,
like
on the other
You
hand,
and I
might.
have talked until the wee fucking hours, and I know better than for you to say bullshit like that in front of me, and so do you.
I, on the other hand,
Come on, dude! I wrote this amazing little.
Rory is not a filthy mouth,
Well, you know what? Actually,
but he's not scared either.
no. There's actually no cursing in it. I wrote a little story about Kent Ham. Not Kent Ham. Who was it about? Who was it?
Ken Hovind.
Hovind?
Yeah, it was Kent Hovind. Kent Hovind. I wrote a little story about
Is
Kent
one of-
Hovind having a erotic dream about Ansgar Odinson. It has the line. The voices of 1,000 Valkyries roaring in his loins in it.
Oh, who hasn't experienced that? You know what I'm saying?
Duke, you don't understand. I'm a public figure. Where I live.
Oh, okay.
You know,
He can't
Okay.
possibly.
I'm sorry. You're right.
I have to be
Can't
careful.
possibly appear to say the things that
You're the
he's
perfect
more than
person.
happy to say.
I, on the other hand, will entirely be willing to read this, and I will do my best Shakespearean reading voice, if you like.
Should I send it to you?
Why the hell not?
I'll send. It's on my website, dukebonanza.com.
Yeah, just
It's called the Apologist and the Viking, A Tale of Forbidden Love.
Dick. Send it to me. I'm not going to manage to visit a website.
Duke stories are not published.
Oh Christ!
They're a little more pliable than paper.
They're a little more unprofessional.
Dude. If you are willing,
in other words, they're poorly written.
Yeah, they haven't been edited by anyone that can read.
if you are willing for me to send you a recording of me reading it and also put it on my YouTube channel, then I am entirely happy to read this story.
Badger, it is both impressive and awkward. What I wanted to say was horrifying, but it's not horrifying. It's just it comes from a person that we know, so it gets a little weird.
I mean,
he's got an extraordinary imagination, and the way he writes dialogue, he's no fucking Mark Twain, but he doesn't suck. I won't say it's surprisingly good. It was just something I was otherwise unprepared for. Which
I'm not going to say with 100% certainty that I will put this on as yet. I don't know how much of that came through. I think the internet is faffing.
It was enough.
I'm not 100% going to say with 100% certainty that I will put this on the YouTube channel as yet. However, I am not against the idea because I am completely out of ideas right now for stuff.
Well, let me help you out. When Duke writes, he uses his words prettier than the mouth of a $3 hooker.
That's right.
Funny the way
without syphilis.
It's funny the way you're
no syphilis.
reacting to that. Your avatar went.
Can you actually get a $3 hooker these days?
Well, no, but
in Detroit or Ohio.
Yeah, it's not when I wrote that joke. $3 hookers existed when I wrote that joke.
There was a book I read as a child. It was Europe on $5 a day.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Bibli.
No, and somebody actually traveled around Europe and from America.
I have read that. And did it on $5 a day. It's quite fun.
It was probably from the 1960s, maybe.
No, I think it was
earlier.
No, I think it was more like 73. I think there were references to the Beatles having already been established. So
all right, okay. No, I remember my uncle mentioned it to me. In fact, he might have given it to me actually. He said, "Here you
go." Did we talk about reading Bill Bryson books?
I don't think so.
Do you know who he is?
No.
That's why I think we did.
Is this link that I've just received?
You know who Bill Bryson is, and you said no.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then we won't talk about his books.
I sent you the link, Badger.
Right. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will read the first paragraph completely sight unseen, just to see what kind of amazing and fantabulous writing we are dealing with here.
No, it's terrible.
That's like a $7 use of the word fantabulous.
Is fantabulous actually a word?
It is now.
It costs about $7.
He's gonna read.
Kent leaned back in his chair and rubbed his eyes. He'd spent the last few hours working on his newest article on dinosaur riding apparatus. For a break, Kent stood up from his desk, stretched, and went to the refrigerator for a lemonade. Now, I should mention that lemonade has a space between lemon and aid, as it's written here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know.
he went to the refrigerator for a lemonade, heeding the righteous call of God to thirsty work. Taking a sip from his lemonade, Kent made his way back to his desk, sat down and opened the screen on his laptop. He stared at his work, reading it over the mistakes, the glow of the screen lighting his face. Nearly perfect, he thought to himself, and he resolved to put in the finishing touches in the morning. It was time for something fun. There's a lot of this.
Got really erotic right there at the end where you went.
Kent pulled up his YouTube account and began scrolling through his feed, looking for atheist content to destroy with his superior intellect and skillful logic.
Come on, not even
What?
Kent would think that about himself.
Oh yeah, he
A
does.
couple of godless creative videos. Then he stumbled across something new. In Time with Nicholas Suter and some chap named Ansgar Odinson. Kent giggled at the name. He picked back in his chair, sipping his lemonade. He would need a refill soon. Like an eternity of waiting, the screen passed. The video finally began. There before him was Ansgar, the Viking king. Kent was instantly stricken by the bearded Nordic beauty. My God, Kent whispered. That's not how Kent's voice. Can anyone do Kent's
First
voice?
criticism of all of this is there's not enough ellipses. What the fuck are you writing?
Can anyone do Kent's voice?
There are not enough. What the fuck are you writing?
Can anyone do Kent's voice? I would like someone to say, "My God."
I can't, but I can do the.
Dr. Joshua Bowen does a pretty good Kent Hoban.
I'll attempt it. My God, no, that's terrible. Fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, wait. Oh, okay.
Give me the line. I'll try it.
Yeah,
It's just my God.
My God.
That's pretty good. Right, say that, but like you're whispering.
My
That
God.
kid's dad had a blast that weekend.
Look at this beautiful creature here.
My
don't know how
God,
you're gonna tell me
Kent
it's got half a
whispered,
wing.
the voices of 1,000 Valkyries roaring in his loins. Never had he seen such an example of manhood, such supple features,
What?
a gaze as nor'easter winds, lips full and silky. Kent watched them move and wished they were pressed against his own. Lost in thought and filled with awe, Kent slipped into a private world of wonder and mystery, where his awaited him.
This explains the divorce.
Right, that's all we got for now.
You have to
Now we know why his
understand.
wife left him. And now it makes
Yeah,
sense.
at least on this, you have to understand. Like, this wasn't actually something I thought up on my own. Like, Ansgar was like, if I get enough votes on whatever or something, he would make out with a picture of so like Bubba came to me in private and was like, hey, will you write an erotica tale where Kent Hovind falls in love with Ansgar Odinson? And I was like, well, fuck it, why not? You know, like I've done worse things. And then one day I worked every day for I literally worked every single day between my 2.5 jobs for months. And then I had a break for 3 days. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do this thing.
All right.
So I just sat down in the morning and wrote it.
Oh, the internet's cutting me off again. Right, everyone, both in here and in the chat, please inform me who you think does the best Kent Hovind voice. That's not Kent Hovind.
Oh, well, that'd be
Oh
Eric.
no,
Eric.
that would be Aaron Raw.
Oh no, Eric does
Just
it better.
because I don't think Kent Hovind would agree to voice himself for this narration.
Oh, I don't think Eric Hovind would voice his dad either.
Hit up Digital Hammurabi, Dr. Joshua Bowen. He does a great Kent Hovind.
Yeah. By the way, if you haven't watched the real recent video from Apologia with Eric Hovind, yeah, you should. I think it's like 58 minutes or some shit, but it goes by fairly quickly.
I heard Paul did a great job on that.
It wouldn't be
It's
me.
really good.
It wouldn't be I.
I
That's for sure.
I think Eric Hovind is a huckster, and he didn't come off as the biggest prick in the video.
Rory, you've turned into a triangle, my fine fella.
I have. Hold on a sec. I can get that.
Eric
back.
Hovind.
There we go.
Eric
Yeah.
Hovind sucks the fucking root, dude.
Oh yeah, he's basically the thing that causes the smell of everyone's taint.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he's like an old gym sneaker that's been filled with onions and fucking
Yeah,
sweat and pee and left out in the sun.
Here's one for Rory. You might actually be aged out of this. Richard, I'm not sure where you fit on the scale, but for the other three of us, it smells like, remember those Adidas with the plastic toe and you put your friendship pins on them?
Yep.
Remember how those things smelled the summer after you went without socks in them?
Oh,
Is
what
that,
the
does that
trainer.
include the trip to the lake or not including the trip to the
It
lake?
doesn't really matter. What's funny is that happened for about one fucking year, where people my age wore those shoes without socks because those shoes were cool. Going without socks was cool. That combination lasted exactly one fucking summer.
Oh, well, there we go.
Richard, are you with me? You seem to be the one that was following the close.
I'm not totally. Yeah, I'm there.
I don't know.
We could go back to Badger actually on this one.
Cam,
So-
what are we going back to me on?
well, I was
We're
going
going
to
back
say,
to Reeboks.
socks with sandals or socks. Sorry, sandals with socks or sandals without socks.
Now, I am entirely aware that there is a whole fashion thing against socks with sandals. However, I have never been fashionable in my life. I wear a smoking jacket a lot because I like it. So I will say that if you want to wear socks with sandals, if you are more comfortable that way, then wear your socks with your sandals. However, I personally think it kind of defeats the purpose of sandals.
Also, if you're wearing socks with sandals, you have to go ahead. If you're wearing socks with sandals, you have to go ahead and understand that you'll never see a vagina again for the rest of your fucking life.
All of that is wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, all of that is wrong. I'm not advocating that socks with sandals is attractive. What I am advocating is that there is a justification for wearing. I almost always wear wool socks anyway, and wool socks with sandals is kind of nice for the shoulder seasons where it's not quite warm enough to wear sandals without socks, and it's not quite.
But here's the question, Artemis. If it's not quite warm enough to wear sandals without socks, why don't you just wear shoes?
Because sandals are more comfortable than shoes.
But also, Artemis, what about women who wear socks with sandals?
I'd fuck them.
Nobody gives a shit about that. Nobody cares. Like, a lady could be in a burlap sack if she's cute. We don't fucking give a
Rory,
shit.
for the life of me, I can't imagine why the fuck you asked that question.
I was,
but where the hell did that question come from?
All right,
I was
so
a-
I'm just I've done something, but what is it? That's what it is. So I am currently I've sent a message to One Ring asking if he does a Kent Hovind voice, and I'm currently collecting all the Kent Hovind lines from this erotic story.
It's my snub.
Dude, listen, if you do this, I will personally send it to him.
No,
I'm sad that he hasn't seen it yet. Like I want him to see it,
Duke will
but I
make
don't want him to see it.
Duke
I
will-
don't want him to see it until it's perfect.
Duke will make a hard copy of it because that's
I will.
That's how the man
A
operates.
hard copy.
Yeah, he makes everything as hard as he can.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm a terrible person.
This is not,
And Duke and I love each other.
This is
We don't
not
talk
the-
to each other very often, so it's
this is not the
We should
first
talk more
time
fucking
I've
often.
done a dramatic reading of an erotic tale.
Duke's a cocksucker and I'm not.
You're just mad that I won't touch your cock.
That's not why I brought it up.
Oh, you.
Sorry,
brought it
Badger.
up.
Sorry. Listen, you had to know this was going to be chaos when you put the two of us in a room
Yeah.
together, man. I mean,
We
like,
did- We didn't mean
I
to
was
beat the
beginning to
asshole out
think
of your
that I
channel,
made a
but
mistake in having both of you on at once, but
Well,
fucked
gentlemen,
trusted us.
gentlemen. This
Gentlemen,
is
afraid you-
my concern because the Badger wants to be on his stream for about an hour or so, and I said, well, I'd be delighted to, but what on earth am I going to talk to you for an hour or so? And I haven't received an answer from him yet.
You genuinely thought that you were just going to be, just you.
Yeah. But obviously I was incorrect.
well, I'm hoping, Mr.
Your
Mr.
monogamy
Rory, that once
breed
my
doesn't concern us right now.
I wanted.
Rory,
Yes, Badger.
my fine fella, I am hoping that once I get my computer situation sorted out and I can actually do my fancy effects where I have my guest appearing in a little screen and it all looks lovely, that we will have a proper one-on-one discussion for a whole
For an hour.
thing.
I'd like to talk to you. There's a couple of topics actually, Badger. Prep school
Mm-hmm.
is one, and you're interested in sticks, and
he is interested in sticks.
and steam engines.
Because those go together
Yes, indeed.
those go together like
sticks-
brooms
and
and
can work this into a whole idea.
like gasoline feathers. Like
I do have something of an interest in sticks, particularly fancy and less fancy walking sticks. Steam engines, yes. Oh, what's going on? What is happening right now?
Out of curiosity, Badger, are you interested in like wood turning, like crafting stuff? Where guys take like epoxies and different kinds of woods and put them together, and then you turn them on a lathe and make them into like really pretty stuff.
I am very interested in this, but I don't have a lathe, so I can't do that. What I do, however, is I make walking sticks, which I carve out of wood with a knife.
Rory,
and such.
I'm not much capable of flashbacks, but that genuinely gives me one. Yeah.
I know, right? I've had a knife with something like that
Fine
before.
walking stick.
No, the thing that my mom used to use to smack my brother and I because she didn't have the wasn't capable of the velocity that my dad was
It's
a length of fishing rod, fiberglass fishing rod about that long that had a brass fitting on the end where it was supposed to fit into the other piece of the rod. And one day Mom got mad enough that she forgot which end of that thing to hold on to, and she beat us both with the brass end of that thing. And that might be the only trigger I have.
Well, Artemis,
That's funny. My dad had a belt. My dad had a belt that had Willie Reed Pritchett in the side of it. He had custom made that
What did
my
it have
mom
in
and
the
my
side
dad
of it?
both.
Duke, it cut you off. Duke,
He
what
had
did it have in the side of the belt?
Willie Reed Pritchett, my dad's name. And that's what they used to beat the fuck out of us with.
it's the one thing that keeps my dog in order, and I don't even have to beat him with it. I just show him it. It's like, oh, it's like, right, okay. No, going back to the subject of beating.
That is literally the only thing I feel like has ever legitimately triggered me in my life. Was seeing that fucking end of that thing. Holy shit! Seriously, it took us a long time. My brother and I. My brother's almost exactly 3 years older than me. His birthday is the day before mine, and we're 3 years apart. And it took us a long time to figure out where the stick came from. And the day we found it, my brother talked me into hiding it in a place that was absolutely genius, which was where one step came down and met the riser of one came down and met the step of the next. So it was tucked into the fabric, and it was barely visible looking up the stairs and absolutely invisible coming down the stairs, which is where Mom was going to come. And she beat the shit out of us. And she was so mad that she didn't realize that she wasn't using the end that didn't have the brass end on it. And she beat the shit out of us. And I know that she realized it the next day when she's looking at what she'd done, and it didn't look like whatever else she had done. And I know she was sorry for what she did, but there's another parent in the lineage that he didn't use the stick because he didn't need it. He also didn't need the belt.
Oh, my mother used to beat me with a silver handled hairbrush. Yeah, when I was a child.
Yeah, my son's mom got beaten with a metal brush.
See, now that's just classy, man. I really admire that about you.
Yeah, that is some high-end fucking child abuse.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's
like
that's
the
nice.
rest of us have these. The rest of us have these fucking garden hose,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
fucking electrical wire bullshit.
Fuck that.
Right. Old
You got a
extension
silver
cord,
fucking brush.
Silver
Jesus
brush is
Christ,
pretty
Rory.
nice.
Talking about
God damn it, dude!
Kind of
talking
Take
about
that
these
silver.
jealous.
Take that
Dude,
silver
you-
spoon out of your mouth, dude.
You're so spoiled. I don't.
It was still bloody painful.
Oh yeah, right. Sure. I mean,
I'm just kidding.
Just-
I want to just say now. I'm just kidding. My parents never beat me with electrical cords or anything like that. I got most.
oh,
of
you
them.
were joking.
I was kidding.
Rory,
It never happened.
I
I
wasn't.
would also like to say that I've got a fairly good idea in my head of what that brush looked like. And
Woman's hairbrush, it's got a handle on it and a
Yeah, my
it's
my
got
great grandmother had a
oval.
silver woman's hairbrush. She brushed her hair with it. That was never going to meet my bottom. There's no way. I wasn't that privileged. I don't even know how you could call that a beating.
This is why I just get a load of interesting people to come into my burrow, and they just go for it, and I don't even need to say anything.
Yeah, I'm really put out by this whole thing where he thinks he got beat with a silver hairbrush. And I mean, if it's not if you don't have fiberglass from the fishing pole stuck in your posterior, it was not a beating.
if there's not blood on the wall most adjacent to you, you have not.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about. So,
Right, okay, all right, okay. Patcha.
if there's not a blood spray when she swings back again and pulls back, if there's not a blood spray from the brush
Or the
I
back.
don't know. You were
All right.
you were being
All
gently reprimanded.
all right,
That's all.
Badger, this is your channel. Why don't you go into chat
Yes, it is.
and ask everybody what was their worst beating at school?
Oh, at school?
Oh, God.
Beating at school.
I'm not talking about that shit.
Never had. And
I never got a beating at school because my dad would go to the principal Like I remember every time I went to a new school, my dad would meet with the principal and sit me down with him and tell the principal, if you touch my son for any reason, I'll break your fucking legs.
I was beaten at school, not with a cane, plimsolls. You know, the shoe. You know,
Yeah.
Wait,
You see, I was as well, but that was by the other students.
my my literal visceral reaction to you saying the word plimsolls is the song "Million Miles Away."
Plimsolls? What's that?
A band that performed the song "A Million Miles Away."
No, I mean what Rory's talking about. Rory, if you would tell me.
it's a shoe.
It's a
A shoe.
variety of
A
sports
training shoe.
It's-
Yeah, sports shoe.
Yeah, it's like a gum shoe, a little bit like
Okay.
a shoe in the United States.
Yeah,
So
I
that
was
would be-
beaten.
Has
I was
anyone?
beaten. I was beaten quite regularly with one of those, mainly for masturbation.
You'll have that on these long jobs. I'm just wondering about the shoe. Like it's flexible, and it's
Yeah.
relatively short.
It comes with a slap.
Yeah,
So you get a slap.
you get a big slap on the bare bottom. Yeah. Mm.
What were we talking earlier?
Oh,
you're
that sounds horrible.
finger-
That's just
fingers-
woo. That's way up there, man. That's because you can get a lot of speed up with a shoe.
I feel like this is a scene in the original Airplane. So you ever been kicked in the head with a steel boot?
No,
So you like movies about gladiators? You ever been to a Turkish prison?
Have you ever
No,
seen a
I've never-
grown man naked?
Yeah, sure.
Right along those lines.
many.
Hey guys, it's been a blast, but I'm gonna head out. Peace and respect to you all. Have a
It's
great
been
night.
great
Thanks for letting me
chatting
hang out
you,
with you guys for a
Richard.
minute.
Once I get my
You too, buddy. It was good to meet you.
Once I get my
Good to meet
computer
you.
problems dealt with, I will try to invite everybody on individually for chats and stuff like that. But
Awesome.
at the moment, I could just about manage to get a StreamYards thing going because I'm talking on my laptop, which can't really handle too much.
And Artemis, especially you, because you had some interesting things to say tonight in the earlier stream, and I really appreciate it.
I look forward to talking to you the next time.
Richard, nice to meet you again. Good night. Keep
Good
safe.
to see you, Rory.
Good
Be
night.
You
safe.
too.
Peace and respect to you all.
And you.
And I'm gonna check out too. My battery is fucked. All to be damned.
Word to your
Badger, you got to fucking record that shit.
I'm seeing if I can find someone to do a Kent Hovind voice.
You got to do it. If you can do that, I swear to God, I will spam him with it until I get fucking deleted from every social media platform.
Who was the person who wasn't One Ring who might do a Kent Hovind
I've
voice?
seen somebody do
Digital-
a passing one, and I can't for the life of me think of who the fuck it was.
What the hell is this?
Mike, here's the thing that happened to me that no one should have to go through. I had retained an AOL email account all these years up until about a year and a half ago. And a year and a half ago, I got a new phone. And for whatever reason, I couldn't transfer my AOL email account to the new phone. And here's the thing. I cannot transfer that email account to anything. So everything that I had attached that email to for the last years needed a new email account.
Well, that's what you get for being old.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I love you, Artie.
I
Hey,
know
guys,
you do,
I'm-
and that's why I say you can go fuck yourself. You can go fuck.
Well, I will. I
No,
will.
I
It's just a matter of
I
time.
mean this
If
comment
you're
with
better at it.
no ill will meant towards anyone. However, you just Oh, it's cut me off again. You say that's what you get for being old, and immediately Rory's video feed comes back with this kind of look. Just you what?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
I think three of us are probably within about 3 years of each other, and Rory is the only one that isn't in that list.
I'm a boomer.
Actually, Badger, you might be considerably younger now that I think about it.
I am a
I'm
proud.
not going to comment on my age.
Well,
I'm a proud boomer.
boomers apparently when I was in
With a
college, boomers were a little bit older than what they are now, but apparently I'm 3 years away from being a boomer, which makes my brother on the cusp of boomerdom, and me 3 years off of it. Which
I'm Gen X.
What are they going to call all the?
Yeah,
What are they going to call all the children that are born 9 months after the quarantine?
19.
COVID.
No,
Corona.
19. And then 19. The average age of a combat soldier in Vietnam was 19 years old. Seriously,
My wife's second cousin
nobody remembers
died
that
in
song.
Vietnam.
Seriously, nobody remembers that fucking song.
What's the song?
19.
I
By
think
who?
I actually do know this. Remember the
It's
song,
an
but I
English
don't know it very
artist,
well.
and I can't believe Duke doesn't fucking recognize it because he was probably dancing in the goddamn clubs to it.
Probably, but I can't remember it
It's a war song. It's
right now.
It's a Viet.
I have been exposed to this thing that I've just been exposed to on Twitter. I don't know what terrible thing I've done to deserve this, but my goodness.
What? Badger, what have you tweeted about?
It's right. There is a picture of a heavily tattooed man. He has a tattoo of a turtle, or no, it's a tortoise because he's got land-dwelling feet. It's a tortoise on his stomach. It's a tortoise shell on his stomach, with the legs coming down just to the top of his legs, the forelegs, and it is tattooed in such a way that the head of the turtle, or the tortoise rather, is his penis.
Fantastic. I approve.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But he's had the eyes of the tortoise penis.
And
Badger-
what did you have? What did you have to say to you on Twitter, Badger?
Yeah, Badger, if you want to
Oh,
be, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it cut me off as ego.
I posted the song.
What is going on with my internet this evening?
I posted the song 19 in the side private chat thing, and I don't know how it pops
Let me
up for
see.
you if you click on that, but for me it came with a content warning.
Let's see what happens.
The
when I put this in
the
YouTube.
video starts with text of the opening. It's not really lyrics, but the opening words,
Oh, it
and
just plays for me.
those things in context is a little fucking creepy.
I will have a proper listen to it later on. But this tortoise penis man.
Tortoise penis man.
It appeared just there's someone that I don't personally follow, but someone that several people that I follow who's on Twitter, who just posted this picture with just the caption "Okay ... but why?"
I just received a thingy that says my favorite football player has tested positive for coronavirus.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm in this weird place where I'm the person that's closest to my parents, and I did that purposefully. I moved where I am to be the one that was closest to our parents, and I'm also I've survived 3 fucking heart attacks. My mom has survived breast cancer
and my dad is dwindling to nothing, and I can't possibly have contact with them. So kind of the whole reason that I'm here has been, thrown in the bin. And I'm a little weirded out by what I'm supposed to do most of the time. And I end up spending way more time in public than I used to, just because I think I want to see it. I go to the store way more times than I used to. I used to almost never leave the house. I go to the store twice a week now. I used to literally leave the house twice a week. Now I'm not just leaving the house. I'm going outside, getting in my car, and driving away twice a week.
Well, Artemis, I was suffering from severe pneumonia, a few months ago. Got over it, and just as I was feeling better, suddenly we've got this lockdown. So I'm not very happy. But I've got my children with me. I managed to get my daughter out of London a day before they shut the whole thing down, and my son came down earlier.
And you're coming off pneumonia, so your body's chock full of shit that isn't in
inventories. Well, exactly. I got a phone call from the hospital yesterday saying we're cancelling your appointment. I said, well, I fully understand.
Yeah, I would hope so.
But because of the COVID. But no, I'm feeling okay. But so I've kind of been used to this for months. So.
Yeah,
but not with the children. Not with the children.
The fucking thing could kill any of the three of us in this city, and my mom keeps she's not like asking me to come over for dinner or anything, but she keeps intimating that maybe it would be okay if I came over and just did this. No! If this is going to kill one of us, let it be me. Because if it isn't, and I bring it into your house, it kills all three of us.
Badger?
Yes.
Did you? There was a very funny meme I saw on Twitter yesterday. Well, apparently from the government, and it said in 9 months' time, the NHS is going to be maternity wards are going to be overladen. Their advice was stay at home, protect the NHS, save lives, try anal.
Love that.
I thought that was quite amusing.
Yeah, I saw somebody offered the question of what's the COVID generation going to look like the baby boomers.
Yeah.
I
think they will.
I just hope it's not nearly as big.
I do too. Like, I swear to God.
Because if it is, we're so fucked. I mean, I won't be around to watch it, but they'll be so fucked. If the Christians get the population explosion that they want to see, they'll be so fucked.
I have overpopulation issues.
I just realized that I was cupping my mouth around a mic that wasn't there. They'll be so fucked.
I have overpopulation issues already because there are too many humans just in general for my personal comfort, because I can go for a stroll. I like going walking, but when I go out walking, like I go out in the countryside for a stroll, if I meet someone while I'm doing that, I feel personally offended.
Well,
I feel like it is an affront to my existence that they are there.
How dare they?
Walking, because I go out walking to get away from people.
And they do too, which is why you're the prick.
Oh, I'm not claiming not to be.
Well, at least that's an honest position.
Let me put it to you this way: people are shit.
Oh.
Hey, isn't that
let
a
me
Slipknot song?
elaborate on that. Quite possibly, but it's also a quote from Zero Punctuation, the video game review chat.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
the thing with people is that they yes.
Can I ask you a question?
What have I done?
If you were to impregnate a female badger, how many
Yes.
little badgers would you expect?
Now it cut
Are
me
you
off
asking
midway
me
through
or
you
him?
speaking this. I got to how many little.
If you impregnated a female badger, how many little
Uh-huh.
badgers would you expect?
Oh. I'm going to say between 4 and 6.
Yeah, you see. So, ergo, you don't have to worry too much about your population.
Yeah, well, it's not the badger population I'm concerned about. It's the human population.
Well, you just out badger them.
Actually,
That's
it's
not going to
even
solve the
population.
problem.
It's the car population.
That's just going to mean there's too many people and too many badgers.
I was
Christ.
Well,
I was about to say something absolutely horrific. I'm really glad I cut myself.
I'm glad you did too. Hey, I literally just jumped in real quick to say bye because I got jumped out. I got knocked out.
It was a thing that I shouldn't say.
Artie, Badger, Rory, love you guys. Have a great night.
Chick, thank you.
Dick. We should have a proper chat at some point.
Love you, brother.
We will, and it will be about titties.
Very, very probably.
Damn titties. I gotta go too, and I can't imagine going off on two finer notes than damn titties.
Well, it seems like you and me, dear Badger.
Well, it does seem to be just us now.
I expect you. See, I haven't shaved for a few days. I'm saving on the old Gillette and some water. But,
You don't want to run out of that Gillette.
no, you don't. No. But well, there we go. Who else is
I
in
do have a
chat?
question for you. We've got
Carry
a few
on.
people kicking out. I think we might still have.
I think Nerdy
I
Rodent.
think we might still have Snodard Rich Dram in the chat.
And Nerdy. He could come in, perhaps. It depends. It all depends on you, Badger. How long you want to carry on for.
Well,
could
let's chat for a little bit longer. If you're
I'm
fine
fine
chatting
with
for a bit longer, I'm fine chatting for a bit longer. Apologies
Yeah,
for my cutting out occasionally. I'm on the laptop, which is too far away from the router for its own good.
Well, I'm on my laptop. Luckily, but router's in the cupboard behind me, so.
Yeah. You see, for my PC setup, I had this amazing system where it's wired into a wireless dongle that's on a long cable that goes out of the room close. But unfortunately, the laptop can't quite do that.
Right, okay. So, shall we go back to the whiskey thing?
Yeah, let's go to the whiskey thing.
The Lafrague. Have you ever had Lafrague whiskey?
I don't think I have.
Because in my opinion, that is I'm not a big whiskey drinker, but if I do, that's what I get. I mean, it is expensive. Again, it's about 30 quid a bottle or something like that. But you have to pay that these days. You know?
I don't think I have had that one. If a spirit or strong alcoholic beverage to drink, what is your drink of choice?
Generally, it's sort of lager, beer, lager. During the day, I like my wine at night. Occasionally, I have a Bloody Mary. Yep, but I like horseradish in that as well.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, spice it up a little bit, and your celery salt, and you know all the trimmings, I suppose. But yeah, no, I especially in the lockdown thing, I'll have a couple of cans of lager at lunchtime and try and lay off it a bit in the afternoon, and then we lay up the dining table for dinner.
Oh, fabulous. Well, my drink of choice is generally some kind of ale or beer for just doodling around. But when it comes to the stronger stuff, I generally like some kind of rum or whiskey. This Highland Park is quite nice, but I generally don't go quite that high end. A friend of mine has recently got very whiskey. I think it cut me off then. A friend of mine has got very into Lagavulin whiskey, which is Scottish, I believe. And apparently that's very good, but I've not actually tried it yet.
Well, as I previously mentioned, in terms of whiskey.
Oh, Randolph's got to go. Have fun, Mr. Richardson. We should have a proper chat at some point soon. Back to you, Rory. What was that thing you were saying?
Thank you. No, just back to what I was saying about the Lafraig. I think it's Laphroaig, I think. But that's definitely my favourite whiskey. But anyway, there we go on that subject.
All right. All right, ales. You mentioned ales and beers. What is your favourite?
There's only one answer to that, Badger.
Mm-hmm.
Badger ale.
Of course.
Yeah.
You see, I am a big fan of the Badger Brewery in Dorset. I have at the moment I have some Thirsty Ferret. Oh, it's gone again. There we go. At the moment, I have some Thirsty Ferret in my drinks cabinet, prepared for tomorrow evening. At least I think it's tomorrow evening. What day is it? It is Thursday, isn't it?
I think so. We're in the morning,
aren't
we?
Just transitioned to Friday.
It's Friday. Actually, we're fairly, a quarter into Friday.
All right, yeah. So it is tonight technically.
Right,
I shall be.
It's this morning.
Along with an event that I'm doing.
So
so tonight technically, I have some Thirsty Ferret.
Have you ever been to Hollywood House in Blandford Forum?
I haven't. I would like to once all this mess is dealt with.
Yeah, because they do brewery tours, and
oh, fantastic!
Well, and here's something that I haven't really told you before. I actually grew up in a brewery in North Dorset, and we had a steam engine, and a static steam engine, and that was used to haul the hop sacks up to the top of the brewery, which obviously then went into the vessels to make the beer, and they actually have that same. It's not working anymore, but they do have that same steam engine at the brewery in Blandford Forum. And I went on a brewery tour of that some years ago, and I was like, I know that steam engine. I remember it working because we actually did use it.
Okay.
And
Yeah. So they had the thing on display that you remember being in active use.
yes, exactly,
Ah.
exactly. And that was fun. And then the other thing it did, all the spent malt and hops, they used the steam engine to lower that down into lorries for the local pig farmers. And they'd just take away the spent malt and hops and feed them to the pig.
It would all go in the pig slops, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, back in those days, I mean, everything was recycled. You know, it wasn't just dismissed or taken to the local dump or anything. It was the whole thing worked in an agricultural community like that.
Yeah. Well, I think just today everything's got so mechanized and stuff that the margins for error just don't work the same way, which is unfortunate. Because if there weren't so many people and such a requirement for mechanization and automation, and things could be a lot more. Lot more sustainable in terms of how they're managed.
Sorry, I lost you there for a bit.
Yeah, I was just saying, if things weren't so reliant on mechanization and automation, they could be a lot more sustainable in how they're managed, because people would actually think about what they're doing. Say, right, well, we've got all this leftover hops and stuff from our beer production. Could you use it? Yeah, we could use that. We'll put it in with the pigs.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, we got another potential guest. I'm going to send the link over.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
And then that is not how I do that. I just tried to send the link to the YouTube video that Artie put in here just now. There we go. Let's try that. There is StreamYards. There it is. Okay. About walking sticks. Let's have a quick walking stick discussion. You have a very fine cane there. Do you have other ones?
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's a swagger stick.
Oh yeah.
That I was showing you. It's not quite a walking stick, but
no, it's more of a gentleman's cane, isn't
it? Yeah. But I think it's from First World War. I think something like that. But
oh yeah.
Walking sticks. I do, but I hardly ever use them.
I do have I have canes. I've got quite a narrow and thin one with a silver tip that I found. I inherited from my grandparents, and I have a few others that are less fancy. But my personal favorite walking stick is one that I made myself. Which when we do our one-on-one chat, I will try to arrange it so that I can display some of these.
I think I've seen one of them, which was of yours, which was rather impressive. That you made on a previous chat, but no, they are very interesting.
Oh, our new edition has arrived. Here we go.
Hello. Oh, my face is big.
Good evening, Mr. Dead City.
Yeah, Dead City.
How should I address you, sir?
Most people call me Jen.
Jem.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Jen. Yeah.
Jem. Okay, yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Badger, I think this is the first time I'm directly talking to you, unless we talked on Neil's stream before.
I think you're right. I think this is the first direct vocal communication that we've done. So, hello, welcome to this thing that I'm doing right now.
I'm excited to be here. You know, it's nice finally getting to meet my animal-based counterpart on Neil's stream.
Oh, I've just attached my earphones to the table. All right. So, Let's make words happen out of my mouth, shall we? Tell me a little about yourself, Jem.
I'm a trans atheist YouTuber who also sometimes does commentaries on stupid people and snake oil salesmen. Other than that, I really don't do that much. I make music and art. I've seen a few of your videos, so you don't have to introduce yourself to me, but if you want to, feel free. Or Rory, I have no idea
Well,
about you, so if you want to give a bio.
well, my talky things, I do all sorts of stuff. I've done a little bit of religion and discussion around it. What's happened here? Oh, no, that's not what I was trying to click. Let's start again. I do a little bit of religion and discussion around it stuff. I do some story reading. I do some nature videos. I do commentary on things. I talk about whatever's in my head at the time whenever I get around to doing videos, basically.
Fair enough.
I'm not really what you would call a YouTuber, Jem. I do have a channel, but I posted one video on it. But so I tend to join people like Badger and his friends, and some other friends I have on YouTube on live streams. That's about it, really.
So what I'm gathering is us three are the most boring people to listen to.
Oh, we can be.
Well,
Well,
I'd like to
Rory
weigh
has
in
a-
on the beer discussion y'all were having earlier.
Oh, excellent. Go on.
I drink really shitty canned Corona Extra. That's the only beer I drink.
So you're probably getting a. Oh, it's cut me off again. My internet's terrible this evening. You're probably getting a good discount on that at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the only beer that's left in stores. No one wants to buy it.
No, Gemma, I'm just gonna have a quick look at my fridge, and see what I can find. Hold on.
I'm kind of mad because I can't drink
All right,
beer since
so-
I'm on a diet.
Yeah. Well, that does mess the plans up a little bit. So, what was I going to say to you? Was it you I had a brief email exchange with a while ago?
Oh yeah, the only thing I said to you was I liked your handle, your @. I meant to type more, but the Undead Meowth email I have isn't my primary one, so I never check it. And I think I completely forgot. I also blew off MathPig, and I feel bad about that. But
Well, I don't think MathPig will hold it against you.
probably not. I'll schedule something with MathPig eventually. I was like, I don't know. This was right. Also, if I remember, I contacted you before this whole virus lockdown too, and so on top of that, and on top of my job being suspended, I haven't gotten around to doing much. You know?
Are you being furloughed, Jem?
Yeah. I work
Excellent.
at I don't know if you know what Busch Gardens is. It's a theme park down here in Florida.
Okay.
It's owned by SeaWorld, if you know what SeaWorld
Right.
is.
Yeah.
So obviously that's closed, and I'm a janitor. So you'd think that they'd
Right.
have me staying there cleaning up, but no, I'm just sitting at home
Well-
doing nothing.
Jem, my wife is a swimming instructor, and obviously they closed the pools down, so she's furloughed now. And in England they pay 80%. Is that the same in America?
I don't get any pay. I was part-time, plus I'm not getting a stimulus check because I'm a dependent. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But you should be.
I
No?
wish I was. I wish I
The
was.
rules are not quite the
No.
same over there, unfortunately.
No,
Since
clearly
I'm
not.
technically a college student and I'm a dependent of my parents, I'm not
Oh,
getting
right,
a
okay.
stimulus check.
You see, for me, I was doing care work just before the whole thing happened. Unfortunately, I left one place because it just was not working out for me, and then since then, nothing's happening because everywhere's gone locking down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Badger, you must be an essential worker.
No, because I left the place right before the lockdown happened.
Oh,
That's just bad timing. I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah, Badger, I have a friend who does the same thing, but yeah, he's still there, paid full time.
I was working there for a couple of months, during which I was messed around quite badly by changes of management and just things not being done, not being organised as they should have been, because just things were not going very well for the management. The deputy manager while I was there had been through, I think she said, 15 other managers in the time that she'd been there. She'd been there only a couple of years. So the place was not doing very well, and due to my own learning difficulties, I need a consistent schedule.
Right. Okay.
So I came to, after long discussions with them, it just came to be that it was not going to work out for me.
Oh, back
So
to the.
I went on. I went to move on to look for something new, and then the lockdown happened.
Right. Well, anyway, back to the beer conversation. This is something
Yes, that's much more fun.
Yeah, in my fridge. There you go.
Hang on. Let's make you
Piston
big.
head.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
The piston head thing, and I've never really. They do a selection, and it attracted me because I'm a bit of a piston head when it comes to cars. So I thought, well, I'll try that. And Tesco, which is a local supermarket in England, did a really good deal. They're normally like £8 for 6, but you can buy 2 for £9, which is what in dollars? $13, I suppose, for 12 of cans, which I think is fairly good.
I think we're at somewhere around $1.50 roughly for a pound at the moment.
All right, so yeah, maybe 10, 11 bucks in that case. But no, I thought they're rather good.
I'll have to see if they sell piston head here in America because I like the label. I like skulls. I mean, I'm called Dead City, so that's kind of a given.
It's I'm just trying to think where it's brewed. Oh, Sweden. It's from Sweden, which is not renowned for much apart from ABBA and Volvos.
Now, I did mention earlier that the Badger Brewery, that's the word. I did mention that the Badger Brewery in Dorset is one of my favorites. I also enjoy the St Austell Brewery in Cornwall. Particularly their Tribute Cornish Ale.
And there's Padstow in Cornwall. What's it called? Rock Brewery or what's that?
I've been to Padstow on numerous occasions.
Have you? Badger. Have you ever been to the Mayday parade?
I may have done it. Right, 1 second. I've just had a bit of a disaster. It's all right. No, I've averted it. We're fine. We're all good. I may have been to at some point, but I haven't been to Padstow for quite a while. I used to go to it quite frequently, but I haven't been for a while.
Well, do you know about the Mayday parade? Do you, Badger, in Padstow?
I know of it, but I can't remember many of the details.
It's where they dance in the street, and there are two sides. There's a blue horse and a red horse, I believe. And I think the red horse you start in the pub,
Mhm.
and the other horse you don't, because they don't drink. But they dance through the streets, and the idea of the horse is that you catch a virgin under your
Okay.
dress, and if you do, then it is guaranteed that this virgin will be married and have children within a year. It's very pagan.
Okay. It's guaranteed, is it?
Apparently so. Yeah.
That's probably the strangest holiday I've ever heard. I've
Oh,
heard of
there's
like the
some-
Icelandic tradition of dressing up as a dead horse.
There are some good pagan traditions you can find around the world. Wassailing has recently had a bit of a resurgence in the UK. Have you been to any wassailing, Rory?
No, I haven't, I'm afraid. In fact, I'm not quite sure what it is. Perhaps you could explain.
Right. Well, the wassailing it's an old sort of pagan tradition that was then taken on by some branches of the Christianity at certain times, which was you would. Let me just get the time of year right in my head. It would be towards the end of winter, if I'm remembering correctly. It would be you would go out into your orchard and make a lot of noise with drums and musical instruments and merriment, and you would tip cider over the roots of your apple trees in order to scare away the evil demons and ensure a good harvest for the next year.
Well, that sounds rather like what everyone's doing today for the NHS.
Oh
on
yeah,
Thursday night.
I was out banging my drum in the street earlier.
I didn't tonight, Badger, because I was cooking supper. But my neighbour across the road was blowing his horn, and anyway, we sat down to dinner. And I turned to my son. I said, "Right, okay, next Thursday, you have to be out there with your bagpipes."
Bagpipes are like the.
I was playing my flute.
Bagpipes are one of my favorite instruments because they draw all attention. There is no way you can avoid a bagpipe. Like once it starts going, that's all you hear.
That's very true. Very true.
Be right back.
Uh-oh, we lost the badger.
We lost him again. So have you tried the bagpipes, Jen?
No, I don't really have the lungs for wind instruments. I don't think I'd be able to fill up the bagpipes fast enough. I play percussion drums though. Like I have a jazz set that I occasionally pound on. I also play piano and do vocals.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Right.
Not wind instruments, then.
No, I just can't do them.
All right.
My hands are too small to play things like guitar, so I can't do that either.
I was.
I have in my hands. After you, Roy.
I was going to finish off very, very quickly, Badger. I did used to play the trumpet at school and the violin.
Oh,
but I was in the school orchestra and playing the orchestra, and the conductor turned around to me and said, "One of those isolated squeaks in the background." And after he said that to me, I thought, right, that's it. I'm giving this up.
See, I tried to learn violin for a while, but I was terrible at it. I played the piano for a while. I even played in a small orchestra when I was quite young. But more recently, I've got very into percussion, which I mostly play. But I also have a didgeridoo. A
Ooh,
few other wind-based instruments, including this Native American style flute.
Very
I
cool.
say it's cut me off here. I say Native American style because it's actually made of local English wood, because I made it myself. So if you will indulge me for a moment.
are we going to...
Very nice.
That's rather quite good, Badger.
That's my Native American style flute made out of Dartmoor silver birch in an A minor pentatonic scale.
Well, you can't get much better than that, can you?
And if you like, I can give a brief blow of the didgeridoo.
Ooh, why
Sounds
not?
good to me. I feel like I'm being raptured. Like the spirit of God is just taking me now.
I have visions of
The only problem with
the didgeridoo floating over Australia, the wilds of Australia, the
the only
outback.
problem with
Just like a possessed
the only problem with the
didgeridoo floating
didgeridoo is
on
it
its
makes
own.
my nose. The only problem with the didgeridoo is it makes my nose extremely. Oh, I think it cut me off again. The only problem with the didgeridoo is it makes my nose extremely itchy.
Yeah, probably from the vibrations, but also you have a badger nose, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's definitely the vibrations. But I'll play the didgeridoo for a little bit, and then I'll be there going.
I just realized from left to right we have the progression of smoking. We have a cigar, then we have a cigarette, then we have vaping.
We do well spotted. Yeah, well spotted.
See, I can technically do all three because I have a few cigars in a tub here. I also have some fancy cigarette-y things somewhere else, which I got ages ago, which I've never actually tried. I have a pipe for the smokery purposes. I also have a pipe for the vapory purposes, because I do have a vape in the shape of a pipe, which
See,
was a
now
gift from a friend of mine to go with my steampunk attire.
I have
Ah,
a glass cigar. I have cigarettes and I have a vape, but the glass cigar is not filled with tobacco. It's filled with a different thing you smoke. I'm
I
in
thought
Florida, so I
you.
can't say what it is.
I thought you were going to do another tune on the didgeridoo, Badger.
Well, that's what all the was just now. Or did it cut me off again?
I heard it.
No, we heard it. I thought you said you were doing another one. I don't know how many tunes one can play on the didgeridoo.
Well, okay.
How many tunes can you didgeridoo?
Here's the thing with a didgeridoo. Didgeridoo has a single note. You can adjust the pitch a little bit with modulation of of your throat and your mouth, but it essentially has one note. But there are two types of didgeridoo with adjustable pitches, neither of which I have. But one is called a slide didge.
I'm just imagining a
And that
huge
is
slide whistle, like from Looney Tunes.
it's a didgeridoo. It's usually mounted on a stand, it's coming up. It's usually mounted on a stand, and you can adjust the pitch to match with instruments around you before you start playing. And the other one is called a didgeridoo, and it's basically a didgeridoo crossed with. It's a didgeridoo crossed with a trombone, as in you can adjust it while you're playing, and you can play different notes and slide it between the notes as you're playing.
So you
I
can
would
adjust
like
the
to get one of those, but I haven't yet.
So you can adjust the length of it.
Yes.
It
works very much like a trombone.
Yeah, okay. All right. Interesting.
Oh, I do have a slidey whistle, but I do have a slidey whistly thing, actually, but it's not one of the ones that has a consistent pitch. It's more for doing, like, bird calls. And that sounds like this.
Oh, that is horrendous.
It sounds quite terrible over the microphone.
Yeah.
I'm sure birds love that, but I'm not a bird, so I wouldn't know.
I was going to say it sounds like a dog whistle, but they're obviously a little higher up with dog whistles. But
I do have this as well.
Oh,
is that a dog chew toy?
This is my friend Squeakula.
Ah.
Hang on, let me see if I have a picture of Squeakula on this device. Oh, no, of course, they're all on the computer that's busted, aren't they? While I'm here, though, I do have this picture. Oh, what have I done? There it is. Because I was in a chat earlier, and this picture was sent to me.
Ah.
I'm honestly confused.
I was in Critical Questions earlier with Critical Cripple, and we had the amazing guest speaker of Eric Murphy.
Okay.
And during that stream, that picture was made by MathPig.
Well, that's an old wooden mallet.
Because Eric Murphy apparently is a trained and qualified blacksmith.
How do you become a trained and qualified blacksmith in today's day and age? It's like the most awesome job ever.
In America, I believe you go and train with other blacksmiths and they teach you to blacksmith. In England, you repair antique fences.
Okay.
Well, also, no. Well, no. I mean, you can get an apprenticeship in England as well. Yes, a lot of it has to do with
there
fences.
are two.
But
there are two major types of blacksmiths that I know of in England. They are. Oh, it's coming up again. There are two major types of blacksmiths that I know of that are regularly employed in England, which are people who do antique fences and farriers.
Yeah, farriers. Yeah, I think farriers are probably more popular or more. Of larger numbers.
Yeah, all the blacksmiths that I know personally in England do occasional sword projects for people and things like repairing antique wrought iron fences and buildings and stuff like that. Because most of them are too tall to be successful farriers, because it would literally destroy their backs bending down to do horseshoes all day.
I'm training to be a welder, and I'm thinking of going into bladesmithing eventually. But I don't know if I'm going to do that just because it doesn't pay as well as, just being a welder.
Well, you could always weld and bladesmith just on the side.
Yeah, but then I'd have to finance all the machines, like a lathe and, an auto hammer and things like that.
Well, Um,
Tell me what a bladesmith does. I mean, is it
Um,
sharpening knives, or am I being
it's
completely
taking like
ridiculous?
metal stock, like steel, and then work hardening it, hammering it, forging it into knife shapes or sword
Right. Okay.
shapes or like whatever
Right.
bladed weapon. Yeah, machetes, things like that. I was thinking of making like a kitchen set because I'm tired of using the knives I have since they're shit.
Well,
Um,
yeah, most of them are. I have to say.
I was gonna
I
pick up.
have.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say. I mean, I have a set from Germany, which has lasted me years, and they have a lifetime guarantee. So if they break, you know, send them back. They send you a new one. But they're very expensive to buy in the first place. But
Yeah,
over a lifetime, first of all, they're good knives, and secondly, you don't have to worry about replacing them.
yeah.
It's the same
I've
with
been thinking of. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, I know, you go ahead. I interrupted you. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. I was thinking of getting. There's this really fancy sushi knife kit. I forget what it's called, but like I saw it, but it's like $2,000. I don't know how much that is in pounds, but it's
About the same, a little
yeah,
bit less. Yeah.
it's quite a bit of money. So I wouldn't, if I was making gourmet food every day, maybe. But as it stands, I'm making hamburgers and steaks,
Right.
uh, which doesn't really require a lot of effort.
But if you have the money, I think it's worth buying the best, because
Oh yeah,
as I just said, it will last you a lifetime. But $2,000 is a lot of money for a knife set.
yeah.
I bought
the most expensive knives that I have are survival knives. Um, I
Okay, well,
have
if
a
we're gonna talk
nice.
about those types of knives, then I have some really expensive ones.
I have, well, they weren't super expensive, the ones that I have, but they're functional and they're expensive enough. I have a nice kukri, as in the gherkin knives.
Yeah, the
And I have,
recurve machete.
yeah, and I have a few just basic survival ones. But the one that I am most pleased with, it's cut me off again. The one that I am most pleased with is actually a boating knife that I inherited from my granddad. It was made by. Let me have a look at it. Uh, uh, J. Noel and Sons of Sheffield.
excellent Sheffield steel.
It's proper Sheffield steel. This is a proper boating knife. It's considerably older than I am. And it's quite possibly my favourite knife because I inherited it from my granddad, and also because it's very sharp and carves wood very well.
I mean,
Um,
older knives always tend to be better than modern knives. The techniques used were just better. The steel was better. It wasn't mass-produced cheap garbage.
well, Sheffield um, was absolutely known for its steel manufacturing and cutlery, and Sheffield silver.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a type of silver plate, but well respected. But came back to knives.
I have a couple of knives and tools that I've inherited from my grandparents that are all made of Sheffield steel, and those are the ones that have survived and are still useful now.
Were your grandparents from Sheffield, Badger?
No, they
No,
were not, but
mine were.
they when they were able to, they got quality things when they were able to, because as you know, quality lasts.
I bought in the United Kingdom. Yeah, we're not allowed to carry a knife on your person that's shorter than 3 inches. But I actually bought this one, which is from America.
Oh, I think
And
actually, can you turn that one around?
yeah,
And up a bit, up a bit, up a bit. Does it have a locking mechanism?
no,
Oh,
because you're not
I think
allowed
actually,
that.
I think
You're not allowed
actually
that.
you would be. Oh, it's cut me off again. This internet is having a laugh.
Yeah, you're
I think actually
roboting
you
quite a
would be
bit.
able to carry that one in if it doesn't have a locking mechanism.
Well, no, it doesn't. So that's why I have it. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's you do that sort of thing with it.
Want to know the great thing about living in Florida? I once carried a replica Spartan Gladius. You know, the huge swords, the 3-foot swords. No one said anything because Florida has no regulations on bladed weapons and barely any regulation on guns. Thanks, America.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
I generally have quite a few knives on my person when I'm out and about because I use them for different things. I like to, just as I'm out walking, I will pick up. It's cut me off again. I like to, as I'm just out walking, I will pick up bits of wood and just whittle as I'm tootling around.
Well, that's fine. You can have a whittling knife on you for a purpose, I believe, legally in the UK. A longer knife than 3 inches. But you have, obviously, if you're stopped by the police, you have to explain why and what you're doing. But
Well, generally speaking, I don't go out that often. I try to avoid being around people unless I have a reason to be out around people, or if I'm just out walking, in which case I will just avoid people in general.
I remember I was on a hike once and I found a really nice walking stick, so I took out my fixed blade knife and just turned it into a spear for no reason. I wasn't gonna throw it at anything. I just wanted a spear, I guess.
Yeah, I've done the same. I've got one of my hobbies is making walking sticks, so I have quite a few. Which, when we do our proper chat, Rory, I will try to make sure I have a thing set up so that I can show them off a bit.
and I can show off my guns.
Yes, indeed. What else do I have? I do have a nice airsoft revolver, actually. It's an airsoft Magnum, which I got basically so that I can have a Magnum in my desk next to my bottle of whiskey.
So if you ever want to go skeet shooting with your airsoft, you could just throw a bottle of whiskey, shoot it in the air, right?
Yeah, but it wouldn't do very much because it shoots plastic pellets. It just go bing off the bottle.
There was a video on YouTube not so long ago, maybe a month ago. It's an American woman, a very attractive American woman, and she actually kicks up skeets from her toe and shoots them from the hip with her shotgun.
Oh,
it was incredibly impressive.
If I was trying
a
to
strange skill to have,
shoot
you know?
things, it keeps cutting me off with the old internet here. If I was trying to shoot things for it's done again. If I was trying to shoot things for effect, I would either use a slingshot or a bow around here.
Have you ever seen the Slingshot channel on YouTube? I think it's just called
with
something.
The German chap.
Yeah, he makes some strange.
Yeah, I know the guy. He's a really interesting chap.
I would love to I don't know, be able to spend my time building wooden projectiles, but I don't have that kind of time.
So there was a video of the Turkish trying to invade Greece. You know, and it was and one of them had this slingshot. He was firing it at the Greek border guards, and I was like, first of all, I thought, oh, for goodness sake, and then I thought, you're actually doing that pretty well. That's quite impressive.
I mean, hey, at one point in time, the slingshot was the most revolutionary piece of technology on this earth. So it stuck around for a while. I guess there's something to it.
I have
Well,
a very inexpensive fishing slingshot that I've had for absolutely years. I've replaced the elastic on it a couple of times, and it still works lovely.
well, I was in the Honourable Artillery Company, which was founded in 1537 under Henry VIII. And of course, artillery back then, didn't mean artillery what it means now. It was basically any weapon capable of killing the enemy from a distance. From a distance.
Mm-hmm.
So, which was mainly archery, basically.
Oh yeah.
And then it transformed into muskets, and then it transformed into obviously, big artillery guns. In fact, I used to fire them at the Tower of London for many years on the sort of the Queen's birthday and presidential visits and that type of thing. So, 25-pounder from World War II. I don't know if either of you know what I'm talking about, but yeah.
Are we on about cannons?
Well, yes, obviously, yeah. Going back,
or are we on about mortars?
No, cannons going into artillery. Yes.
Okay.
Well, breech loading guns.
Breech loading. Yeah, I'm with you. The closest I've been to something similar recently was at a friend's wedding at an old fort where the groom fired the cannon. It was quite excellent. Although as soon as the people there suggested that he fired the cannon, all his it's coming up. As soon as the people at the fort suggested that he fired the cannon for his wedding, all his mates went, "I know."
Well, it was quite amusing at the Tower of London, Badger, because they used to close off the area that we fired the guns from the public, and it would be a 41 gun salute or a 61 gun salute. That's the amount of rounds that are fired, not the number of guns. But first, when the first round went off, you could see the crowd jump, because it's pretty loud. Lots of flame and smoke going around. Anyway, after a few rounds going off, they kind of got used to it, but that was always quite amusing to watch them jump when the first round went off.
Excellent. Well, it's getting rather late, and we should probably wrap up at some point.
No, I agree, Badger. It's what are we now? Zulu time, 03:23. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I need some sleep because my son and daughter is with me in this lockdown. Because we got them out of London, thankfully. But my son's still working, and to get his Wi-Fi, he has to be in my bedroom, which means I can't lie in anymore. Unfortunately, apart from weekends. My daughter is in the caravan outside, self-isolating.
So you're a little
yeah,
bit crowded over there at the moment.
I am a little bit crowded at the moment, Badger. But no, absolutely. I think we probably should wind it up very soon.
No, I'm really oh, there we go. I'm in a relatively stable situation at the moment in terms of being able to isolate. Unfortunately, due to my circumstances, I don't need to be in contact with a lot of people physically. I'm hoping that once this whole mess has sorted itself out, I'll be able to get things going again in terms of gainful employment and all that kind of stuff. But we shall have to wait and see what the situation is then.
Yeah.
I am still looking for new things, but it's taking its time because, of course, all the things are either shut down or overloaded with people.
Oh, the world is quite chaotic right now, and honestly, I just want to get back to work.
It is indeed.
Since we're wrapping up, I just want to say thanks for having me on your channel. Eventually, we're gonna have to collab on a response to something, or I don't
Yeah,
know.
we could
We'll figure
certainly
something
have an
out.
idea. Let me start that sentence again, but like in the right order. We could certainly try and get something together for a collaboration. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good fun. Have you seen if you want to see some collaborations I've done before? I've done a couple with Not Your Witness and Novaria.
Okay, I'll look those
So
up on your
if you
channel.
see those on my channel, that's the sort of collaborations I've done. But there is another one in the works, but it's taking its time because everybody's having all kinds of stuff going on right now.
Have you quick thing? Have you seen the Goop Lab on Netflix? It's
I don't.
Gwyneth Paltrow peddling pseudoscience.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I mean, we could respond to an episode or two of that if
I
you.
haven't seen it on Netflix, but I have seen the kind of stuff. Yeah.
Call me on Discord sometime and I can screen share a few episodes. It's hauntingly stupid. And by hauntingly, I mean very
Yeah, that might be
hauntingly.
something to do.
All
All
right.
right. Well, thanks for joining me in stream. Let's do the thing. Let's do the YouTube thing. So,
Right.
Mr.
And
Perry, where can people find you on the internet?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, on Twitter, I suppose, under my name, Rory Herbert. I do have a channel on YouTube, but I've only posted one video. And I suppose
Very
occasionally
kind of you.
I should thank you. You can find me occasionally on one of Badger's live streams, which I thoroughly enjoy.
Oh,
So
splendid.
I would just like to say thank you so much for having me on again, Badger. It's always good to have a chat.
It
And
is indeed.
I hope we get through this crisis well.
Yeah, so do I. Once I've sorted out these computer problems, hopefully in the next week or so, I shall try and actually organize having some of these one-on-one chats we keep talking about. So, Dead City, where can people find you on the net?
On YouTube, I'm Dead City, and on Twitter, I'm Dead City Vibes, spelled DED. And on Discord, I'm in a lot of different servers, but if you go to my YouTube channel, you can find a link to my server. I'm barely active on it. I don't know why I even have it. But yeah, that's where you can find me. You could also usually find me on Neil's stream. I seem to be a repeat guest in his after parties, so
Good for
In
you.
whose after party? Sorry, cut it off.
Neil's. I'm
Oh,
usually
Neil's after
in,
party.
yeah. And
Neil's a
yeah,
good guy.
he is a really nice
Excellent.
guy.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see that thing that I did that I've just forgot? when I finally managed to actually get Neil on my channel for a chat. That was good fun.
Oh, I was gonna watch that. I just haven't gotten around to it because I've been like, I don't know, I've been busy.
Oh yeah, well, everybody gets busy from. Words are not happening this evening. Yeah, busy happens. Let's go with that.
I mean, it's late for you, so I'll forgive
This
it for now.
happens.
Oh, we got Jesus is Lord in the chat again. Wonderful.
All right.
Is that really Jill or is that parody Jill?
I think it's really Jill. Hopefully, anyway. But I did have Jill on my. Cut me off again. I did have Jill on my channel a while ago for a chat. That was an interesting evening.
Badger, I'm going to wave you good night or salute you good night, I think.
Yes, indeed. Right. Thank you for coming, everyone, and we shall have to chat again sometime. Good night.
Good night.
Let's just close this thing off.